Hi everyone, this is Kevin here coming at you with tips and tricks for the LG Stylo 5. So let's get started. So this is the LG Stylo 5. More specifically, this is the LG Stylo 5 with Alexa. This is a factory unlocked version of the phone that works with all four major US carriers, including AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, and Verizon. So definitely nice to see that we do get a lot of carrier support with this device. The first tip that I'd like to show you is how to change the buttons on the bottom of the device. So by default, we get the traditional Android navigation home buttons, and I don't mind those at all, but if you do want to switch to something a little more modern, I'll show you how to do that. So pull down the shade here, go to Settings, and then in the search box, type in Home. Then from there, you're going to see Home Touch buttons. So tap on that, and you'll see here that we have a variety of different options. The first option is the style. So we can choose buttons only or gesture and buttons. So by having gesture and buttons, you can swipe the home button to see recent apps. So let's try that out. So you can see that the recent apps button has now gone away, and instead you can swipe up on that button in the middle to see your most recent applications. In addition to that, you can customize the button combination. So you can move the buttons around. So if you want the back button on the right side, which for me would make sense because I am right-handed, you can switch to that. So this is the ideal form factor for myself because I don't have to reach over at all, because if I want to access my recent apps, I can swipe up right here. If I want to go home, I can tap on that button there. And if I want to go back, I have easy access to that as well. And if you're left-handed, then you might want to go with the default option there. In addition to that, you have the ability to change the color of the bottom bar. So by default, it is white, but you can switch over to a bunch of different colors. They're all pretty kind of light pastel colors, but still nice that you can make that modification there. Then by toggling the show lock / hide icon, what this does is that essentially when you have it off like this, when you go over to an application, you have the option of swiping up to see the bar here. And then from there, you have the option to basically lock the bar in, or you can make it so that the bar only shows up when you swipe up. So by doing this, you get a more immersive experience with your various applications. You also have the ability to then tap on Hide Home Touch buttons to select different applications where you know for sure you're going to want the home button to be hidden. And then of course, if you want to switch back to how things normally are, you can tap on buttons only, and it brings it back to how things have been for a while with Android. Now the LG Stylo 5 is a very large display, and for many people, including myself, it can sometimes be difficult to reach over to different parts of it without having a second hand. So what you can do is pull down the shade here, go to Settings, go back to Search again, and then type in Mini View. And you'll see this option called Mini View. And when you go to there, you can turn Mini View on. And essentially, to shrink the screen for use with one hand, swipe left or right across the back, home, and overview buttons. So with that on, I can swipe over from the side. And yes, I do want Mini View. And it will make a mini view. So now it makes it almost like a mini phone. And I can reach over to any part of the operating system here on the device. I also have the ability to adjust the size, so I can make it a little bigger or a little smaller than normal. And if I want to go back to how things were before, I can tap on the X in the corner. So very convenient there. Next, let's take a look at some shortcut keys. So pull down the shade, go to the settings, go to General, and then you're going to see extensions and then go to shortcuts. Once you tap on that, you can see that some of these are actually already enabled by default. So for example, since this is the Alexa version of the LG Stylo 5, double pressing on the power button will trigger Alexa. Tapping on the volume up key twice will open up Capture Plus when the screen is locked or off. So let's turn the screen off, double tap on that, and you can see that it did pull up Capture Plus. And then tapping on the volume down key twice will open up the camera. So nice and quick there, nice little shortcut. We also have the option to view the notification panel by swiping down or up on the fingerprint sensor. So It is kind of a long reach to access the notification panel on the top there. So what's nice is that if you just move your finger across the fingerprint sensor, it will pull down the notification shade. So one flick pulls it down a little bit, but then you can do it even further to pull it down more so that you can access everything that you have here. Now, I don't have any notifications up at the moment, but if I did, I'd be able to see all of them very easily. Another cool trick is knock on. So make sure you have this enabled here, but essentially, when you have the display off, you just knock and it turns the screen on. Make sure not to hit your display too hard though, because you don't want to crack it. Now, if you feel like your phone is getting a little bit slow and you feel like you have a lot of clutter and junk on it, you can go to Smart Cleaning here on Settings in General. So once you tap on that, it'll show you how much internal storage is in use, how much is remaining, and how much RAM is being used and how much is remaining. So by tapping on Optimize Phone, you can really clear things up here, and it'll begin the process of optimizing the device. So after it kind of runs through here, it will show you how much junk is cleared. So you can see here that it did clear out both internal storage and memory for me, which will make the device a lot more efficient and better to use. So one of my favorite features with Android is having access to an app drawer. This is something that I really wish iOS would add, although I don't see that happening anytime soon. But by default, the LG Stylo 5 doesn't have an app drawer. So I did add one, and it does work just as it normally would. So to add the app drawer, go down to the shade, go to Settings, go to Display, go to Home Screen, and then under General, you'll see Select Home. Tap on that, and you'll see multiple options here. So the regular Home, which doesn't have an app drawer, then there's Home and App Drawer. So select that, tap on OK, and you'll now have access to an app drawer on your LG Stylo 5. So I'm really interested to know what you think of those tips and tricks about the LG Stylo 5. Did you find them to be helpful? If you did, then definitely give this video a thumbs up. And if you're looking to buy the device, then take a look at the link in the video description. But this is Kevin here. This is the LG Stylo 5, and I will see you in the next video.